Hi guys, my name is Dinwan Kavinda Karunathilaga, student ID K250309. Today I am going to reflect on what I have learned about the foundation of project management. During this unit, I learned that project management is much more than simply completing work before deadline. It involves planning, teamwork, communication, managing stakeholders, selecting the correct development methodology, controlling time and responding to changes. In this presentation, I will explain the main concept that change my understanding of project management and how can I apply them in an IT project. So in slide 2, you can see I have focused on 5 main areas. First, I will explain some important project management concept. Second, I will discuss how my understanding of project management has changed. Third, I will apply these concepts to real IT example. Then I will explain one concept that I found challenging. Finally, I will discuss how can I use my knowledge in future studies and IT career. So this structure directly follows the main reflective areas required in the assessment brief. The first important concept is I learned is the project management framework. Before studying this subject, I thought project management is mainly meant creating a plan and following it. However, I learned that project management contains several concepted processes. These are initiating, planning, executing, monitoring, and controlling and closing. Initiation identifies the purpose of project and formally starts it. Planning determines what needs to be done, when it should be completed, what resources are required, and how risky will be managed. Executing is where the team performs actual work. Monitoring and controlling means checking whether the project is progressing according to the plan and making correction when necessary. Finally, closing includes formally completing the project, resolving acceptance, and recording lessons learned. The victory material explains these five project management process groups and shows that they work together rather than as completely separate activities. The second important component is that an IT project cannot operate in isolation. A project exists inside the organization and is influenced by technology, people, business objective, organizational structure, and organizational culture. I also learned the importance of stakeholders. Stakeholders can include customers, users, developers, project managers, senior management, and other departments. For example, if we develop a university mobile application, students are important users, but university management developers and technical support staff are also stakeholders. Another important lesson was the role of top management. Management can provide resources, make important decisions, and help the project team gain cooperation from other departments. Therefore, successful IT project management required both technical knowledge and strong communication with people. Another major area of learning for me was the difference between traditional or waterfall development and agile development. Waterfall follows relatively clear stages. Requirements are normally identified first, followed by design, development, testing, and delivery. This approach can work well when the requirements are clear and unlikely to change. Agile is different because development happens through smaller iterations. Instead of waiting until the end of delivery everything, the team can develop part of the product, receive feedback, and improve it during later iteration. I also learned that Agile should not automatically be used for every project simply because it is popular. The methodology should match a project. For projects with change requirements and regular customer feedback, I would personally prefer Agile before. However, for projects with a very stable requirements, a traditional approach may sometimes be more suitable. Project time management was another very important topic. A manager first need to define the activities required to complete the project. Next, the activities must be sequenced because some tasks depend on other tasks. The manager then estimates the resources and duration required for each activity and develops the project schedule. One useful tool is Gantt chart, which usually displays activities and their start and finish dates. I also learned about the critical path method. The critical path is the longest path through the network diagram and determines the earliest possible project completion time. Another technique is PERT, which is useful when activity duration is unclear. The formula is optimistic time plus 4 times the most likely time plus pessimistic time divided by 6. These techniques allow a project manager to create a more realistic schedule. To apply what I learned, I will use the example of developing university student service mobile application. The application could allow students to view timetables, receive notifications, submit service requests, and check their request status. For this project, I would choose Agile using from Scrum. The reason is that the student may provide new feedback after using the first version. Instead of developing everything at once, I could divide the project into sprints. In sprint 1, the team could develop login, student provides a timetable function. Sprint 2 could include service request and status tracking. Sprint 3 could include notification testing, bug fixing, and final deployment. Important milestones could include prototype approval, completion of the first usable version, and final customer acceptance. This combines agile development with time management concepts such as activities, milestone, and scheduling. My thinking about project management has changed significantly. Before learning this subject, I mainly thought that successful project management meant finishing all tasks before the deadline. Now I understand that time is only one part of project management. A project manager must also think about people, stakeholders, resources, communication, risk, business goals, and changes. Another important change in my thinking is that there is not one perfect methodology for every IT project. Previously, I may have thought that newer methods such as Agile were always better. Now I understand that the project manager should first understand the project environment and then select the most appropriate approach. That was one of the most useful things in my understanding. One topic I initially found difficult was the critical path method. At first, I found network diagrams confusing because several activities could occur at the same time. I overcome this by separating the network into different paths and calculating the total duration of each path. Then I understood that the longest path is the critical path. I also learned that if an activity on the critical path is delayed, the whole project can be delayed unless corrective section is taken. Understanding step by step made the concept much easier for me. I believe this knowledge will be useful in both my studies and my future IT career. For university projects, I can break large assignments into smaller activities, identify deadlines and milestones, and communication more effectively with group members. In my future IT career, I can use these concepts to plan projects, communicate with stakeholders, manage schedules, and respond to change. I will also remember that I should select Agile, Waterfall, or another approach based on the needs to be projects instead of choosing methodology simply because it is popular. Most importantly, now I understand that successful IT professionals need both technical skill and project management skill. To conclude, this unit has changed the way I think about project management. I learned about the project management framework, the importance of organizational context and stakeholders, agile and traditional methodologies, and project time management. The main lesson I will take from this unit is that project management is not simply about documentation or deadlines. It is about bringing together people, planning, technology, communication, and control to successful turn an idea into useful result. Thank you.